Good morning. I got another coffee talk for you guys. Today I'm sporting this cool cup I got from one of our interns, Jenna, who's now doing the Michael Gaskin Train-a-thon, or actually I don't know what it's called, but yeah, she's doing that. It's been a while since I've seen you guys, and I feel like I should address that first because I do this a lot. I go on little breaks from sharing my thoughts. Partly because I feel like I'm not qualified, or I'm going through a lot of thinking and trying to decide how I feel about things. And I just feel like I shouldn't share at that time because I'm not in a good spot. I'm kind of like between how I feel about things. And then I get kind of a lot of conviction about different things. And then I'm like, hey, I should share some of this stuff. So now I'm back. Hopefully I'll have a lot of stuff to say. Today's topic is pretty good. I've thought about it a lot over the last 4 or 5 years probably. And this topic is on control. So when I first heard about control with horsemanship, it was like, you don't want to control your horse, you want them to control themselves. Control is an illusion. And I jumped right on that ship. I was like, oh yeah, control is an illusion. Yeah, I feel a little different now. This is funny. Today's kind of more of like me thinking out loud because I haven't really thought through what I want to say about this topic. But I do kind of know how I feel, which is control is very important to me. Very. Just like when I get in my car. It's like when I drive my truck to town. Like, if I cannot be in control of a vehicle, I am not going to get in it. I'm definitely not going to go 75 miles an hour. So when it comes to controlling horses, I actually think that's kind of the ultimate. And where I think it gets a bad name is we hear this word control and we think physical control. We think being manipulated by other people. We think it's bad. You don't want to be controlled. You want to be a partnership. And I agree. We do want to be a partnership, but somebody's got to be in charge. Somebody's got to lead the dance. And if it's us and the horse and we're dancing, somebody needs to lead the dance. And I might describe that as control and you might not, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, I think it's worth discussing because if we cannot control our horse, should we take them out in public? If we cannot control our horse, should we get on them? And I'm not saying 100% perfect control. I'm not saying they put every foot exactly where you say. I'm saying they're not going to run off and take us into a ditch or off a cliff. They're not going to buck us off. Then we can get on. Say a wild Mustang. If we can't lead it out in the open and we take it somewhere to an event and it gets loose and it runs through the crowd and runs over some kids, we need a level of control before we go to make sure, hey, when my horse gets a little worried and I pull on the rope, it stays here with me and the rope. Not necessarily just with me, because if he's tied up, I want him to stay with the rope. So I want him to listen to that halter and lead rope. So it's funny because the more I've thought about it, it's like as you get to the higher levels of training, we're just trying to maneuver that horse, which I'm going to use the word control here because it's mostly because I think the word control has that bad rap. That's why I'm using it, because I want people to understand that's not the bad thing. It's how you get it. How you get control of your horse is what can make it bad. You can do it in ways that are unfair or unkind or other people don't like or you don't like or whatever, but that's the point, is how you get it. But to me, we all want a certain level of control before we go to the next step or do the next thing. And as we're getting a horse that, say we can run down and slide 12 feet, 15 feet, we're getting, to me, that's a level of control and something we can do with that horse. And we're trying to get it with less and less effort on our part. Less and less of a cue. I like that. That's something I kind of learned from Ray Hunt was, once you can get a horse to do something, can you get it to do it with less? Okay, you can send it and spank its butt and it goes over the tarp. Now let's get to the point we can pick up our hand and swing our rope and it goes over. Now let's get to the point we pick up our hand and it goes over the tarp. That's the progression of it. So once you can get a horse to do something, can you get them to do it with less? And that's, I think, how we arrive at bridleless, at liberty. I don't teach liberty without a lead rope. Like, I teach it with a lead rope. You know, I want to help that horse find the answer. So back to the word control. I think we all, not just you, me, we should all think about how we feel about the word and not let the word put too much of a feeling inside of us that's negative, because we need control of our car. We need control of our horse, but that's not necessarily bad. And if you have a better word for it, let me know. I would be happy to use a different word. It is a partnership. It is, in ways, like, it's not a 50-50 partnership by any means, but it is a level of partnership and dance. But I think without having control of them first, we can't get to the next level. So I see this a lot in the Mustangs. They want to do things in a certain way and not feel like they're controlling the horse. But then you can't really get to the next level of the smooth, happy, peaceful partnership. So I don't know, something we should think about is how we feel about it, and if there's a better way to describe it, and if there's a better way, and maybe just a better word for it. But for me, I want to use that word to help people realize it's not all bad, because there are times we want control, and then there's times we don't. Like, to have ultimate control over, say, your partner in life, your husband, your wife, that might not be ideal, because that is closer to a 50-50 partnership most of the time. And I get it. Oh, some days it's 80-20, some days it's 100-0. They say that to help you realize some days your partner is going to have a bad day and you have to fill in the slack. But in terms of decision making, I'll say, like with my wife and I, when we make financial decisions, when we make decisions based on horses, moving, going to shows, that's pretty close to 50-50. And I say pretty close because I might not really want to go to a show and she really wants to go. And so I kind of give in to that. And that's a little different. If you were controlling your partner, I could see that being worse and probably a manipulation. And so I'm training, my interns are helping me. We just got 4 new wild horses in. 2 are for my wife and 2 are for me. But we're a week out from having our baby. So I'm doing a lot of the work and then the interns are helping. So the reason I thought of this control and sharing it now is because I have to get control of these horses. And I start in their little pen, then I go to the round pen and the lane, and then I pony them. And I get to the point I can maneuver them and control them off of the lead rope. And I'm confident I can do it in an open space, in a new space. And I'm just building and growing until the point I can saddle them and ride them. And so let me know how you guys feel about this word control, and if it bothers you. And if it does bother you, tell me why. And really think within yourself if that's a legitimate reason, if you really should be bothered by this word, or if it's coming from a place that, for lack of a better word, control might be a good word for what we're doing when we work with horses, because without some level of control, we cannot safely operate our horse and take them places. So let me know how you guys feel, and thanks for tuning in to Coffee Talk. I know it's been a while. See you next time.